have with me Louise Bedford, and she's from Trading Game. Louise, welcome back to Dollars or Cents.
Dallas, great being back.
Now, what pearls of wisdom do you have for us this time?
One of the things that I wanted to chat about today is that a lot of people seem to be drawn like a moth to the flame when it comes to short-term trading, and that's the area I wanted to discuss with you today.
The difference between short-term and long-term trading, which one should I do?
Exactly, and you know, a lot of people do make that assessment. I think the key is medium-term trading.
Ah, yes. 50 cents each way.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
So let's get our definitions right.
Yeah, I was going to say, so
yes.
What is short and what is long-term trading? And what are we talking about? Shares or derivatives, or what are we talking about?
In general. So I'm yet to see a portfolio that is traded short-term outperform something that's a medium-term or a long-term portfolio.
Okay, so we forget the short-term?
Forget the short-term unless you're very, very experienced.
Yes.
Now, short-term is perhaps a few hours to a couple of days. Medium-term, say a week up to about 16, 20 weeks. And longer-term, anything over that. So it might be 2-3 years in some cases. I have to say, some of my short-term trades have become long-term trades just because they didn't hit their stop. So that's an interesting concept in itself. If you have a look at short-term trading though, one of the things that a lot of people like to do is to time their entry using candlestick charts. And you know that unofficially I'm called the candlestick queen. I love candlesticks. I've written a book on it, The Secret of Candlestick Charting. So candlesticks are just a different way of looking at the share price action.
Not butterflies?
Not butterflies, but candlesticks.
Okay, so what's a candlestick trade?
A candlestick is where you can actually see a real body between the opening and the closing of the share price action. So you'll be able to see a picture up, I'm sure, soon about what that candlestick chart will look like and what one candle will look like. But what candles will do is let you time your entry into any trade, whether it be short-term, medium-term or long-term. Now, there's a bit of research actually that I thought I might mention. Brad Barber and Terence O'Dean had a research group of 66,645 households.
How many again?
66,645.
Okay.
Now, what they looked at is they looked at to see whether the people who were trading short-term or long-term were making the money.
So that wasn't just in Australia?
No, this was a US-based study.
Because I'd struggle to see 600,000 people in Australia be trading.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think it's becoming much more popular now, though.
Of course it is. But that's another issue of why there's so many old people and not the youngies trading.
We're seeing a bit of a shift there. I'll talk about that perhaps, a little bit later on. But their study had a look at portfolio turnover, and they found that the portfolios that turned over the most frequently, they were actually the ones that made the least money. So if you think about it, sometimes broadening out your view can actually make you money, and that's why I'd suggest that when people are starting trading that they have a look at a medium-term view. So look at around that, say, 12-week mark. What would you like to hold for 12 weeks or even a little bit longer? Don't think what can you get in and out of in the one day, because it just won't be lucrative for you.
Which means women are better traders than men.
It actually does, and in fact in that same study they showed that women turned over their portfolios less often than men. So fascinating to watch. Yeah.
It is. So all those guys out there, they should be listening to their wives so that they can make money.
Well, I think because we're naturally more conservative, I think that's one of the things that makes us perhaps a little bit less risk-seeking and more risk-averse. The women actually came out on top, and they made 2% more per annum than the guys did. So certainly keeping a medium-term view is a very good idea. And even if you're going to time your entry using a short-term type of indicator like a candlestick, make sure that you've got that medium-term view in mind.
So all the guys out there need to be aware that their wives are really the money-making machines in disguise, or they're there to make all that money for them?
Well, I hope so, but I hope it's going to be a group event as well, so that it's going to be a family, and even kids, frankly. My children are amazing at being able to spot an uptrend. It should be quite a simple thing for us to see, but sometimes we get a bit clouded, don't we?
Well, yes. Your children, of course, don't trade, do they?
No, but they help me with it. I've kept them going from the very young age, colouring in little candlestick charts and making sure they understand what an uptrend and a downtrend is.
Well, that's good. So the moral of the story is stay away from the short term.
Yes.
And look at the medium to long term. Now, just quickly before we close off this interview, what's a medium and what's a long term investment strategy?
Medium term, you'd be looking at weekly charts to be able to give you an overview. Make sure that the weekly chart is in uptrend, and that will do for the long term type of view as well. Short term, you're mainly using daily and intraday charts.
Louise, thank you. There you have it. I've just been talking to Louise Bedford from Trading Game on whether or not you should do long-term or short-term trading. Louise believes medium-term, somewhere in between. And guys, listen to your wives. They're going to make you money. Thanks for watching Dollars with Sense.